What is going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 26 of the Totally Unqualified podcast. We're past that quarter century mark now, again to 26. We have a great show for you guys tonight. We're going to be talking about last night's crazy Thursday night football game between the Buccaneers and Eagles, then getting into some of the top trade targets in the NFL. And following that, we're going to be talking about week 6 of the NFL and give our predictions. But of course, I'm joined with me by my two lovely co-hosts, Jake Maltese and Gage Hall. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing well, doing fantastic, doing even better now. We've all got our drinks out.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Take a quick sip.
We're doing good.
Oh yeah, we might be falling off our chairs by the end of this episode, but we're gonna power through. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, guys, and if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave us a review. It helps us out a lot. We greatly appreciate it. And if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, all that jazz. We really appreciate it, like I just said. And of course, as we start off every episode with the Guess That Player, I am leading 12-10-3. Gage had that little hot streak. Did not win last week, though. Short-lived, but you know what? It's progress. Baby steps. So I'm going to be doing it this week. Are you all ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, I'm ready for this one.
All right. He was a top 15 overall selection in the 2017 draft. So not too long ago. And for, I'd say, the first 4 years of his career, he looked like a bust, complete bust, and had his best season last year. Okay. Switched teams this offseason. He went from an NFC team to an NFC team. Plays on the defensive side of the ball. He is second in the league in sacks right now with 6.5.
Second in the league in sacks.
Tack McKinley?
Not Tack McKinley, no. I don't even know if Tack McKinley's on the team.
No,
anymore.
he's on the Browns.
Oh, he is.
Javon Hargraves.
No, that was a good guess though.
Oh, that's a good guess though.
He is an edge rusher.
Oh my gosh.
Jadeveon Clowney?
No,
he was 14. He was first.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah.
And he's currently on pace to outperform last season where he had 12.5 sacks. He has 6.5 right now. So he was drafted in the 2017 draft. He was the 13th overall selection out of Temple.
Hassan Reddick.
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
Damn, I forgot about that. You probably would have gotten that first try.
Oh yeah.
If I said that.
Oh yeah.
Hassan Reddick. I didn't even realize he was doing that well.
Yeah, he's going off for the Panthers. I thought it was gonna be like a one-season wonder last year with the Cardinals, and then he just turned it on, and he's playing great for them alongside Brian Burns.
He was played out of position in Arizona, and then they finally switched him back to edge rusher, outside linebacker. They were playing in a middle linebacker, and he's been a stud ever since. He's actually with his head coach from Temple, Matt Rule, right now in Carolina. So yeah.
And they are doing well, not so hot as of now, but they're doing better than expected. I think we all say. Maybe not for you, Jake, because you called the Sam Darnold MVP.
Yeah,
so you knew it.
They were heating up. It was heating up to last week, and he just had to blow it a little bit. He can still recover. Yeah, but it's not looking pretty after last. It was a little rough last week.
We'll see.
Man, that was bad. But not going to have McCaffrey this week either, so that's not going to help him.
Yeah, the injury bug is definitely taken away from this season.
Oh, yeah.
So moving from one NFC South team to another NFC South team, last night the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Philadelphia Eagles 28-22. It got competitive there at the end, but for the most part, it was hard to watch. So Gage, why don't you start us off? What were your thoughts about last night's game?
It was one of those games that the score makes it look a lot closer than I feel like it actually was. Like for me, it was an ass whipping. The Buccaneers they beat them any which way they wanted to. Leonard Fournette absolutely went off, looked extremely good, screwed me over on a parlay because I thought they were going to be passing a whole lot more. So hate that, but it's all right. We can go again. But the Buccaneers, I mean, even with the injured secondary, they still continue to perform. They still continue to beat these teams and win these games. And even Richard Sherman went down. So now they're basically out there competing with a second string defense, and the Eagles still couldn't get it done. So like to see a lot more out of the Eagles. I think a lot of it has to do with play calling. I am not very high on Nick Sirianni right now. We've talked about it a bunch of times. Miles Sanders needs the ball in his hands more, maybe not against the best rushing defense in the NFL right now in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but either way, you got to get the ball in that guy's hands.
Yeah. And even then he was, the whole stadium was chanting, run the ball. And even then, like, he was starting to pick up some yards when they finally started giving to him in the fourth quarter. Miles Sanders is such a talent. He's such a talented running back. Like, he can catch the ball, he can run the ball, like he can block a little bit. He's such a talented guy. It's just such a waste of talent. My big thing with Nick Sirianni is he was the offensive coordinator for the Colts from 2018 to 2020. Okay. For anybody that doesn't know that, he went from maybe the most, aside from the Titans, maybe the most run heavy offense in the NFL. Like, the Colts had Jonathan Taylor, Marlon Mack, Nyheim Hines. Like, they're running it all the freaking time. Mm-hmm. And he goes from that type of offense to running his own team in Philadelphia and just refusing to run the ball. It makes no sense to me. Maybe it was Frank Reich really pounding it into his head that he needed to run the ball in Indy. Maybe he's trying to just verge so much away from that now that he's finally got his own team in Philly. It just doesn't make sense. For a team that you want to run the ball with your quarterback, you got a rushing quarterback, you want to run the play action. They ran the play action a whole bunch of times last night. You need to establish the run. Even if you're not picking up yards, the threat that you can run it needs to be there, or else the whole point of play action is just out the window. If the defense knows you're not going to run it, what's the point of running play action? Because they know you're not going to run it. They know he's going to throw it. And my jury's still out on Jalen Hurts for me. He's missing some throws. I understand it's only his 10th ever start, but there were some throws in that game that he needs to hit. Honestly, the Eagles got really lucky with a couple pass interference calls. Yep. That was really the only reason their offense was moving. Aside from when they finally started giving it to Miles Sanders, the Bucks. In terms of the Bucks, I mean, just a great game for them. Leonard Fournette seems to have actually established himself as the top dog in that running back room, which is nice for anybody that owns him in fantasy football. I just traded for him, so that's nice for me. But
I had him on my bench, which was good.
Geez, yeah, that's rough. That's rough. But yeah, I mean, everything seems to be coming together for the Bucks. It's annoying that Tom Brady only wants to throw to his man crush in Antonio Brown, because I had Godwin in a lot of my leagues, and he's just not throwing to Godwin. Evans owners were more pissed last night.
Godwin actually has the most receptions out of the three of them right now, believe it or not.
Yeah,
he's
but
just not picking up as much yards or scoring.
Yeah, exactly. They're all short little dink and dunks. Antonio Brown's the one that's getting those 15, 20-yard chunk plays. I would argue that, though, because Antonio Brown sat out a game, so I think that would probably he might be leading if he didn't sit out that one game.
Yeah,
but it's just all my takeaways are from the Eagles in this game, and they just got to be better. Nick Sirianni, I know it's only 6 games. This is starting to look like a one and done type of year for him. It's just there's really nothing positive that you could say about what Nick Sirianni's doing. His offense can't move the ball. The defense is the best part of this team, but the defense is nothing to write home about, and he has no control over the defense. He's an offensive-minded head coach. I just don't know if he was fully prepared. This seemed like a weird hire. This seemed like a hire that came out of nowhere. Pretty much everyone I knew that heard when Nick Sirianni was hired, everybody was like, who the fuck is that? Yeah. It just seems like he was not ready to be an NFL head coach. And I think he might already be on the hot seat in Philadelphia.
Yeah, Gage, I think you said it best. Like, this game did seem a lot closer than the score indicated. I mean, the Bucks beat them in every single category: total yards, rushing yards, passing yards, yards per play, first down, third down efficiency, punts, sacks allowed. It was crazy. I said this in our group chat last night. Like, this Eagles offense, it's so weird because it's fun to watch, at least for me, but it's weird because they are so bad. Like, they are so bad. I think it's just fun to watch because I think they have a really talented group of receivers. Devontae Smith, I think is going to be a superstar. Jalen Reagor's a flyer, and then Quez Watkins is really their number one receiver coming out of nowhere. Sort of like Travis Fulgham was last year, just making plays for them. But like you guys were saying, this Nick Sirianni offense is just not working. You can't start to rush Miles Sanders when you're down 14 and then try to start getting going. Like, that doesn't make sense. Your offense is RPOs every single play. And that's not even a joke. Every single play is an RPO, and every single time Jalen Hurts is pulling it from Miles Sanders, like chest. Yeah. Every single time. It's frustrating because Jalen Hurts is out carrying Miles Sanders this season, like in every single category. And it's not what you want to see because of how talented Miles Sanders is. And you have a good offensive line to run behind too. Although you're going up against a really talented Bucs front seven, like you saw what Miles Sanders was able to do in his 9 carries for 56 yards, which like 6 of them came in like their final drive. It's crazy to me. But it's not like we were expecting anything more than that this game, really. I mean, we said in the last episode, or I said in the last episode, this was going to be a waffle stomp, and it absolutely was. This Bucs offense is looking like Antonio Brown was the perfect addition to this offense. And although Bruce Arians didn't want to add him, like it couldn't have worked out and like more perfectly. He does look to be the number 1 receiver on that team now. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I think it's definitely between Mike Evans and Antonio Brown, even though Chris Godwin right now has the most receptions out of the 3 of them. I think that those guys are definitely producing a lot more. Mike Evans didn't have a very good game last night. He didn't do too much. They started the game with a 22-yard reception from him. And then after that, he was pretty much quiet. I think he only had another catch or 2 after that. So I think that AB definitely could continue to be that leading receiver, but I think it's going to be one of those things where it goes back and forth between he and Evans a lot. I think Chris Godwin is going to be in the backseat more often than not because his targets are just kind of sporadic.
Yeah. It seems to me like we've known about this Antonio Brown, Tom Brady connection. They've trained together over the off seasons, even going back to when Antonio Brown.
They've lived together.
Yeah. They've lived together. Like, they just have a good rapport, and that's not diminishing any rapport that Tom Brady has with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Obviously he's been over a year with them now. He's won a Super Bowl with them. Like he knows them too. It's just that Antonio Brown is such a good route runner, and I'm not taking away any of the route running skills of Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. They're just more, kind of big guys that, can get open. But Antonio Brown is a special type of route runner. Like he is Tom Brady. He just seems like that Julian Edelman type of guy where Tom Brady is always knowing like where he is, where he's going to be, they seem like they have a mental connection where, all right, Tom Brady pocket breaks. He's kind of scrambling a little bit. He knows Antonio Brown's like on that one touchdown that Antonio Brown had. Tom Brady pocket was collapsing a little bit. Antonio Brown knew to just stop and come back to the ball a little bit, and Tom Brady found him. Like they have that kind of rapport. It seems like when Tom Brady is ever under pressure or anything, he's looking for AB. So maybe he won't be, the technical wide receiver ones on the Bucs depth chart, but in terms of fantasy football, Antonio Brown's the guy I want right now. Like I just feel like Tom Brady loves him too much. They know each other too well. And it just seems like every game I watch, even like Tom Brady is looking for Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the rest of this Bucs schedule here, and like they couldn't have an easier schedule. Like literally couldn't have. They have one team I think they're playing right now above 500, or no, 2, including the Panthers. They play the Panthers twice, and that's the Bills. Like that's crazy. When you look at this, the only thing that's worrying me about this Bucs team is their secondary and their secondary injuries. I mean, they have 3 cornerbacks on the roster right now. Ross Cockrell's probably their number 1 guy right now, Pierre Desir, and then D. Delaney, who I've never heard of in my life, except for last night when he had a pass interference in the end zone, which was cool on the 2-yard line. Yeah, this Bucs team, I mean, they should be Super Bowl favorites, I think, at least in the NFC. They're so stacked. As long as the injury bug just doesn't keep them from, winning these games. And it's even affecting Tom Brady too. He was having some problems with I don't know which finger it was, but it was one of his fingers. And he was like hitting it a couple times. So, but if the injury bug doesn't keep creeping up on this Bucs team, they should absolutely be the favorites to go to the Super Bowl in the NFC. I wouldn't be surprised to see them honestly win out. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go 16-1 because this team is that talented, offensively and defensively.
Whoa. They haven't faced us once yet. So let's pump the brakes a little bit. All right.
Yeah.
You're
And
right.
I never wish for injuries or anything like that, of course. And I want their secondary to get healthy. But I feel like their secondary being banged up right now is the only thing that makes their strength of schedule like somewhat fair, because they do have to compete in the passing game and stuff like that, where they're not great right now because of that. And I think that's the, like you said, their only downfall. Otherwise, yeah, I do think they're probably going to be favorites to come out of the NFC. They might have to compete with like the Cardinals or Rams, but they're up there.
Dude, they play the Bears, the Saints twice, the football team, the Giants, the Colts, the Jets, the Falcons. Like that's crazy. That's crazy.
They better be thanking their lucky stars that they don't got to see Geno Smith and Alex Collins, because they would get a whooping put on them like never ever seen before.
Are they legit? Sorry to cut you off. Are they legit just playing two good teams this entire season? The Cowboys and the Rams, and possibly the Saints later on, and the Bills. 4
guys back after this week.
Oh, Michael Thomas. Oh, that's
true.
gonna be big.
Eventually.
That's gonna be big.
I think we play the Seahawks next week. Actually,
Do you?
That's even bigger.
pretty sure.
All right. That's not what you want to hear.
It's gonna be an ugly year. Oh yeah, we do. We play week 7. It's gonna be an ugly year for
Geno Smith. Was looking good in those.
He was. I mean, even that last interception wasn't even his fault. Tyler Lockett just tripped.
Yep. It's not.
Daddy Laddie's got something to say about that.
Oh, jeez.
All right, moving on. Let's get into our top trade targets. Which week is the trade deadline? Is it week 8 or is it week 9?
We're about 2 weeks out from the trade deadline.
So it's after week 8 because now there's 17 weeks.
It's just before week 9. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. So we're a few weeks out. Maybe if you guys want to list off a couple, Gage, you want to go first with this one? Who are your trade targets?
Sure. My first biggest one, for the love of all things holy, I tweeted about this a couple of days ago now. Please, Cleveland Browns, for OBJ's sake, trade him. Please send him somewhere where he can actually be utilized. I am tired of watching this guy run routes and get wide open and Baker not even look his direction. I've seen multiple clips on Twitter over the past few days, over the past week or whatever, since their last game, where he's running a post and he's wide open. There is nobody behind him. He's got the touchdown and Baker just dumps it off. It's like, come on, bro. So I would like to see Odell traded for sure. I want to see him utilized. I'm tired of seeing him waste his prime with the Cleveland Browns, which he shouldn't be because they're a solid team and he should be, putting up good numbers, but season to season, his numbers are just getting worse and worse. So I would like to see him go to the Colts personally. Like, they have a decent receiving core right now, and I feel like he would open up a lot of things for the other receivers that are already there. Plus, I think that Carson Wentz would absolutely love to have him.
Wouldn't though.
I mean, yeah,
wouldn't love to have him other than Baker Mayfield and the Browns.
True.
Jake, you want to go next?
True. Yeah. It's another receiver that desperately needs to get out of the situation that he's currently in. I'm looking at Allen Robinson. Just a travesty what's going on in Chicago, which Luke brought up a good point. He did it to himself. He fucking did it to himself. Like, what about this quarterback situation? Like, Allen Robinson, don't you want to go somewhere where you have a good quarterback? Like, you think it's only bad quarterbacks that are going to throw to you because, you're their only option? No, go somewhere, show this league what kind of talent you actually have. Because if you're doing this shit with Blake Bortles and Mitchell Trubisky, imagine what you could be doing with like Aaron Rodgers or something like that. Like,
preach.
Yeah, it's just it's ridiculous. Like, the fact that I'm even like proposing that he go to an NFC opponent is like, this is how much I want him to go to a good situation. Like Allen Robinson, it is criminal. I just don't want to see him, a lot like OBJ, waste his career, which, by the way, I think OBJ should have stayed in New York, like, just for it seemed like the situation that was going on, it's distraction in the locker room, whatever, but it just seemed like OBJ in New York just fit. It fit perfectly. Yeah. Like it really did. Like, I
also feel like it's easy to say that now, though, considering the situation is like getting to a point where it's better. But what they were going through then, it's like,
hindsight is 2020.
Yeah.
All right, my first player is going to be the Colts running back Marlon Mack. He just isn't given the opportunities since he's coming off that injury from last year where he was held out of the season. And the year prior, he went for over 1,000 yards and had 8 touchdowns. So He is a very capable back, especially for teams that need one, especially looking at the Chicago Bears, maybe, who just lost out on David Montgomery. He could do it all. He could run out of the back, or obviously he could run. He could catch out of the backfield. He's a great downfield runner, plays with a good pace. Yeah, and he's just not given the opportunities in Indy because of all the talent that they have in the backfield. Jonathan Taylor is one of the better backs in the NFL right now, and Nyheim Hines is maybe the shiftiest player in the league. And he just seems to, I don't know. He's not consistent with like the games that he has, but like once or twice a year, Nyheim Hines just goes off for like 3 touchdowns. And it's just like, oh shit. You look at his highlights on the NFL Network or something. Marlon Mack needs to get out of there. And I do think he is going to eventually get traded just because, he's not given opportunities. And I'd like to see him go to a contending team because it's looking like the Colts are not going to, make the playoffs this year, which is disappointing to say, but yeah, I think Marlon Mack needs to go to a better team.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, like we talked a little bit about it. The Chiefs are looking into him. I think that'd be a great fit for him, especially with CEH dealing with the injuries that he seems like he's constantly dealing with.
And the Chiefs will look at everybody but the players that they actually need. It is crazy. It is crazy.
That's wild.
Also, Baltimore. Baltimore would be another good landing spot for Marlon Mack with the running back issues they've had.
It would be, but like they've got so many guys now that it just feels like I think he's better than the guys that they have.
Yeah.
As far as the defensive side of the ball, I think you saw my tweet earlier. I know that Xavier Howard is absolutely loathing the fact that he is a Dolphin right now. He's like, I made the wrong choice.
Bring him to Seattle. We fucking need him. We need him so badly. You stole my defensive guy. Oh, fuck it. It's just
that he doesn't. He needs to get out of there. It's kind of a shame that the Dolphins defense just took a downward spiral from season to season because that team had aspirations to be one of the best defenses in the league, if not the best. And it's just tough to see. I think they're like ranked like 28th or something. They're bottom of the league.
Yeah, they're
stuff.
Not good.
Can I just rant about the trade deadline for a second really quick?
Yeah.
Why do teams, this is like so like it's so much like just like a college kid waiting until the last second to do an assignment. It's like, why do you wait till the last possible hour of the last possible day to make these trades? You have 8 weeks to be like, all right, let me feel out the team. After like 4 weeks, you should have a good feel for the team and what you need. Like 3 trades probably get done within like that span, like nothing. Probably less, honestly, if we're going to be honest. Like the only one I can think of right now that happened was Stephon Gilmore. Like that's it.
Zach Ertz
today. Yeah, Zach Ertz today. So that's 2. It's 2. So like it just
Anthony Miller goes to the Texans
we're not
going
to talk about Anthony
for a fifth, and they release him.
He's on the Steelers now, by the way.
It's crazy. My gosh, Anthony Miller, Jesus Christ. It's just stupid to me because like you have all year. You have half of the year to think about what you needed to trade, go pursue that person. And then like the last day, everybody just starts being like, oh shit, we need something. No, maybe you don't. Maybe like take the time to be like, I feel like it's just like peer pressure. Everybody's like, oh, they're going after somebody. Maybe we should go after somebody. Like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. Why the trade deadline should be like, I don't know. It just annoys me how they wait till the last second. And then it's exciting. It's an exciting day because like so many trades get done, but just like you had half of the season to do these trades. Like why wait till now when another team could swoop in and get them? Why couldn't you do this a week ago where you would know you have the safety of another team probably waiting until the last second? It just makes no sense to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
By the way, I would say Deshaun Watson, don't give up on Deshaun Watson to be traded at the trade deadline. That's another sneaky one because a lot of people are giving up on him. And I can tell you right now, the Dolphins are done with Tua Tagovailoa. I know this is premature. Okay. But just like take the hints, people. Brian Flores did not like Tua when he got there. All right. He's like, oh, this guy is not, when they benched him, like halfway through his rookie season, like that's not a great sign.
Do you think they would trade Tua for Deshaun? You think he would be involved in that package?
In a heartbeat.
Yeah, I think it would be a swap for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think they would. I think that would completely fuck with the locker room and that whole setting. And 2, I think that the Texans would probably want that swap. They'd want that young guy to come in, even with Davis Mills there. I think they'd let him compete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Davis Mills, I don't know if Tua can beat out Davis Mills right now. I'm just being really serious, right? Davis Mills played really good in the last game. Like Tua has shown me, I've given Tua all the time to prove me wrong. Jacoby Brissett played better than Tua Tagovailoa. He did. He did. The offense moved more.
He's just not seeing the field at the same pace that he did in college, and it's disappointing because I think he had a lot of talent and he's a good leader too.
He did.
One player that I wanted to mention was Marcus May, and I think this is another player that is going to get traded at the deadline. This has been brewing for a while now, He's out with an injury right now, but it's looking like he's going to be back in a few weeks. The team that needs to trade for him is a team that hates draft picks, and that's the Los Angeles Rams. I know Jake would hate that, but they missed out on re-signing John Johnson in the offseason, and look what he's doing in Cleveland. And their secondary is just a little bit weaker now that they don't have another guy beside Jalen Ramsey. I mean, they have Darius Williams, but he's not having as good of a season that he had last year. And they just need safety help. And I think that would make them, easy Super Bowl contenders. But I think Marcus May needs to go, and I think it is going to happen too.
Yeah. I like that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say to reunite him with Jamal in Seattle, but we already got Quandre Diggs, and I really like Quandre Diggs. It's the only position I feel comfortable at with Seattle is the safety position, but other than that, it's free range. Anybody
What do you think about the Seahawks being on the trade or having some players as trade targets on their defense now that they're not looking so hot? Maybe Jamal.
It better be on the defense, dude. I need Xavier Howard. We need to go get a corner. Even if it's like a lower tier corner, just something. There needs to be a cornerback one in that room because DJ Reed is too inexperienced to be your cornerback one. And thank God we got rid of Trey Flowers. Sidney Jones was never a CB1. So it's just like it's not only the lack of ability, it's the lack of experience. They're all so young. They have nobody to kind of look up to. They had Shaq Griffin, but Shaq Griffin was also young. He was on his rookie contract. It's just, when you don't have that veteran leadership, especially at the cornerback position, which is a very tough position to learn in the NFL, it's just tough. So I feel like we need to go. I think Xavier Howard, the Seahawks are really good at going and getting these disgruntled players for cheap. So I think Xavier Howard's a really good trade target because they've done this with the Texans twice with Jadeveon Clowney and Dwayne Brown. So I think that is probably their primary target right now. And that, I feel like, would make a way bigger difference than people realize on the defensive side because it's just way too easy to throw on the Seahawks right now. So if you just have one player that can even a little bit disrupt the passing game, that's a big deal. That's a big deal because really the only player that offenses are worried about on the Seahawks defense is Bobby Wagner and Quandre Diggs. In terms of passing game, it's really only Quandre Diggs. That's the only player they're looking for.
Very underrated.
That's an issue.
A guy, he's no Xavier Howard, but a guy that I think you could get for fairly cheap. And I think he's still got some in the tank. We talked about AJ Bouye a few weeks ago, how he is low on that Panthers depth chart. They've got plenty of guys there now. And I think you could get him for probably not much, maybe a late pick or two.
Yeah, I think 7th. I mean, with the
probably.
I mean, Stephon Gilmore went for a 6, so come on.
That pissed me off. Oh, we forgot about CJ Henderson. CJ Henderson was another trade that happened this year. Yeah.
Yep.
True. Yeah. It's got to be so weird for players. Zach Ertz went to bed 2-4 and woke up 5-0.
Right.
That's a great feeling, though. That's a great.
I mean, yeah.
I think he knew it was his last game in Philly, though. Because I saw him walk back to the locker room after the game. I saw a video on TikTok, and it looks like he sort of knew. He was dabbing up some of the equipment managers.
He said he cried last night after the game.
Yeah, so he had to have known.
His agent probably gave him a little heads up.
Yeah, they were looking into it.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? In his last game as an Eagle, he scored a touchdown. So there's no better way you could go out, at least, or except for a win, which he didn't get.
Yes.
But yeah. So let's move on to week 6. I was just talking to Jake about it. It's sickening that we're about to be halfway through the NFL season. Oh, yeah. It's but I mean, we got football, so I can't complain. So we're gonna go from game to game. The teams on the bye week, I do want to mention, because we are getting into bye weeks now, are the Saints, the Falcons, the 49ers, and the Jets. So we're gonna have 2 less games this week. And we're gonna start with my team, the Packers, traveling to Chicago in possibly the greatest rivalry of all time. Maybe not. Definitely not recently. But in terms of legacy, it might be. Jake, who do you think wins this game?
I mean, after my dumbass pick on Thursday Night Football, I'm just gonna
good pick. I like that one. I like.
Oh yeah, that was
a good one.
As soon as you know what, the Eagles scored on their first drive, and I was like, you know what, this might not be a bad pick. I'm like, holy shit, I might look like a genius. That did not last long. I tell you what. Anyway, I got the Packers this one. I'm gonna stop being an idiot and just go with chalk. Packers in this one. I mean, they're better in every facet of the game than the Chicago Bears, although I did pick up Khalil Herbert in fantasy this week. So hopefully Khalil Herbert has a little bit of a game with Damian Williams, obviously on the COVID-19 reserve list. But other than that, Packers are going to crush them in this game.
Yeah. For Gage's Dead of the Week, I do realize that I forgot to do this last week. I apologize out there if you guys were waiting for that. I know. I fucked it up. But this is going to be a 7-leg parlay. And I know that sounds horrible, but the way that I thought about it, let me talk you through this real quick. Let me convince you. I was looking through at my picks and stuff, and right now I'm picking 65% of the games correctly. So at 7 games, that's about 50% of the games. Mm-hmm. And I picked the ones that I think are solid. These are favorites. You know what I mean? These are guys that are teams that are going to go in, and I think they have a really good chance at winning. So this is one of them, and I'll mention them as we go through it. If you bet on the Bears to beat the Packers at any point in time, you hate money. So I think that the Packers are going to win this game for sure. They pretty much always do. The Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre have crazy good records against the Bears. So I just don't see it going the Bears' way.
Yeah. I'm in a similar boat. Who do you guys think I am? You think I'm gonna pick the fucking Bears over the Green Bay Packers?
You picked the Texans.
That was a good pick, Jake. That was a solid pick.
I know it was, and that's what inspired my Thursday Night Football pick. But
I'm glad it inspired your Thursday Night Football pick because that worked out better for me.
It made me feel ballsy. It was like, you know what? Luke put himself out there with this pick. I'm gonna put myself out there and I just got crushed down to the ground. That was my ego took a big check on that one.
I'm glad. The Packers are gonna go into Chicago and do what they do. It might not be a high scoring game. I think the over under is set at 44. I think the Packers always have a chance of putting 44 up on the Bears at any moment in time, but I think it might be a little bit of a low scoring game. It's been like that for the past couple of years, especially in Chicago. I want to shout out Darnell Mooney though for saying that it's not the Packers Bears rivalry, it's the Bears Packers rivalry, even though the Packers were down 25 or so games and just Aaron Rodgers alone brought them back, and now they're leading the series by I want to say 8 games now, which is crazy how they dug themselves out of that hole. But yeah, give me the Packers by million here. I know I just said it wasn't gonna be high scoring, but give me them a 1,000,001. Okay. So yeah.
Okay. That's an over. I might take on that game. I don't know. I have to look into that. I might have to look into that. That's intriguing.
The Bears defense has been pretty solid. Shout out. We don't talk good about the Bears very often, but their defense has been pretty good. I don't know about now. I think prior to last week though, they were leading the league in sacks. So
yeah. The thing is, I don't want to go on for this with this game too long, but I think their offense I think Justin Fields is going to turn the ball over a lot, especially now that they don't have a running game. They're going to be relying on him. Although the Packers, they're down their top 2 cornerbacks and Kevin King and Jair Alexander. I think they are going to Kevin King. I think they are going to be able to force some turnovers. Yeah. Top 5. I can't believe he's still on the team. But that's for a story for another day. Moving on, Vikings at Panthers. Gage, who you got?
I had to think about this one for a while because I think it's pretty tough, especially with the way the Panthers have played the past couple of weeks. Obviously, they play a tough opponent in the Cowboys, and then the Eagles, they come back late and win it. I think that they've shown without Christian McCaffrey that offense is kind of rough. Sam Darnold is showing some old habits that are not so great. I think this is a must-win for the Vikings, especially considering the tough schedule that they have. I'm going to take them. I think the Vikings win it.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with the Panthers. I tricked you there. I'm going to go with Panthers in this one. it's in Carolina. That's kind of a deciding factor for me because I think these two teams are pretty evenly matched up. It's going to suck to not have Christian McCaffrey in this game as they were expecting. Chuba Hubbard's been doing all right for them. But when I could just see like the Vikings corners are nothing to write home about. And I just feel like DJ Moore and who's their other, oh my gosh, I can't.
Peterson.
Curtis Samuel. No, fuck. Robbie Anderson.
No. Robbie Anderson. Yeah. Robbie Anderson has done like nothing this year, but I feel like this is kind of a game where they can kind of get deep and burn them a little bit. And I just feel like the Panthers are going to have more explosive plays than the Vikings in this one. That might come back to bite me in the ass, but I'm going to say it. And the Panthers defense, they might be getting Stephon Gilmore in this game. Are they?
I think he's still going to be on IR for
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, I just feel like the Panthers, they even without Stephon Gilmore, they still have a very tough defense. Sam Darnold did not have the best game last week. He kind of hurt himself in that MVP conversation. I definitely think that the Panthers win this one, and it really comes down to home field for me in this one because I think these two teams are pretty close.
I'm in the same boat. I think these teams are really, really even. The thing that scares me a little bit about the Vikings in this game is their offensive line. I think the Panthers might have 5+ sacks in this game. But the biggest thing that's swaying me towards picking the Vikings is they're getting their best player back in Dalvin Cook. He is finally set to come back from his injury after missing a few weeks. I always feel like he's one of the more injured running backs in the league. I feel like it's been a couple of years now, but he is coming back after that monster season that he had last year. I mean, he's just one of the best in the league. I'm going to go with the Vikings here. I think it is a must-win game for them. I feel like a lot of these games are going to be must-win for the Vikings because of how, I don't want to say competitive the NFC North is, but because the Packers are at the top and they have not a favorable schedule, but I think they're better than a lot of the teams. I think they're going to have to try and keep pace with them. And I think this is a game that they could legitimately win, although their secondary isn't the greatest, although Patrick Peterson is getting burnt on a weekly basis. I feel like Sam Darnold hasn't been impressing me recently, and he literally threw that game away against the Eagles last week. So I think the Vikings go into Carolina, and I think Carolina is on a downward spiral right now. Give me the Vikings in this game. And moving on, we're going to go. This is a really interesting game, guys. Really interesting. We got the Chargers at the Ravens. This is going to have playoff implications, no doubt. Jake, who do you got?
This is tough, man. This is really tough. Chargers have been rolling. The Ravens just made a huge comeback on Monday Night Football. I got to go with the Chargers on this one, though. It's just talent all over the board. I know after last week, especially, I've been proven to not count out Lamar Jackson, but but Justin Herbert has been, they're both in the MVP conversation. Like Justin Herbert, I kind of established himself there, and Lamar kind of just put himself there with the performance last week. But with Justin Herbert and the way that offense has been rolling with Eckler, Mike Williams coming into the picture now, Jared Cook, it's just there's not a weak spot on that offense. Like, I don't know how you defend it. And with Marlon Humphrey having a kind of a down year, the Ravens pass rush has been good with Jason Oweh, kind of, Penn State guy, making his mark on that pass rush with Calais Campbell still there. So that's been good for the Ravens, but that secondary has been a little suspect. I can't see him stopping that Chargers offense at least fully. So I got to go with the Chargers in this one.
I'm going to take the Chargers in this one as well. This is the riskiest leg of my parlay. This is included in it. Yeah, this one's going to be tough. But the Chargers have the worst run defense in the league right now, as far as how many yards they allow and stuff like that. And obviously the Ravens are a good running team, mostly due to Lamar Jackson right now because their running back situation hasn't been the best. But with that being said, I do feel like they faced a really good rushing team, obviously, last week in the Browns, because Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt both had great games. So I think it's nothing that the Chargers can't handle. I think that it's going to be a scoring race. I think this is going to be a really close game. It could come down to the wire, similar to the Browns game, but I think that the Chargers pull it out.
I'm going to take the Ravens in this one. The last episode, I called Lamar Jackson the most valuable player in the league, and I got to stick with that. Someone's screaming outside of my dorm room right now. Yeah, I think Lamar Jackson's the most valuable player. And to your point, Gage, I know the Chargers just faced the number one rushing attack in the league in the Cleveland Browns, led by Nick Chubb, who had a crazy game. This Ravens rushing attack is different, and it's something we haven't ever seen before. It is Lamar Jackson. It's the Lamar Jackson show, and nobody's really been able to show that they could stop him. I mean, last week I know they only had 64 yards rushing, but I mean, for him to come back in that sort of situation, down 22-3 or something like that, it was crazy. He's shown that he could win these shootout games. He showed it in possibly his hardest game of the season against the Chiefs earlier this year. I think the Ravens are a really good team. I think the Chargers are a really good team. I think this is just going to be one of those situations where I think experience is going to help Lamar Jackson win this sort of game. Justin Herbert's been having an outstanding season, and the Chargers have just, completely, I'd say overachieved my expectations of them. But I'm going to go with the Ravens in this one. They have home field advantage, although they're going to be without Ronnie Stanley in this game. And that might be a problem considering they have Joey Bosa on the other side of the field. But I think the Ravens are going to win this one. So moving on, we got America's team versus America's team. We got the Cowboys at the Patriots. Jake, who do you got?
I hope you meant by that America's two most hated teams in the Cowboys
Fair.
and Patriots.
Fair.
The Cowboys fans are the only ones that think they're actually America's team. Yeah, this is actually going to be a really good game. And, I keep doubting the Cowboys, but Foxborough is a tough place to play. It's a tough place to play, especially when you're a dome team that plays in the South. Like that doesn't help. Yes, they're in the NFC East, so they deal with cold weather when they go up to the Giants and they go up to the Washington, they deal with those teams. But man, it's I want to pick the Patriots in this one. I really do. I really, really do. But that Cowboys offense has just really been good. I really can't imagine. What are the Patriots right now? 1-4, 1-3? 2-3. Okay, so they did get a win last week. Shit. Yeah. Fuck it. I'm gonna take the Pats. I'm gonna take the Pats in this one. They still got a decent defense. I'm just counting on Bill Belichick to outcoach Mike McCarthy in this one, which is something Bill Belichick very well can do.
Sure.
It's very easy task for him to do. It's just also about stopping that talent that the Cowboys have on the offensive side of football. So it's going to be a tough game, but I feel like this game is going to come down to Mac Jones. If this game is definitely going to come down to Mac Jones, but yeah, give me the Pats in this one.
I am by no means a Mike McCarthy guy or anything like that. But after Bill Belichick barely outcoached David Culley last week, I am absolutely taking the Cowboys in this one. I think that even though one Texas team couldn't get it done, the other one is going to stomp them. I don't think it's going to be close. I think the Cowboys win by a couple scores here. Like they can do everything. They are one of the best rushing teams in the league right now. They run more than like literally anybody else. And if they can't beat you with a run, they've got one of the best quarterbacks in the league and one of the best wide receiver duos currently, not trios because Michael Gallup has been out, but Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb are going to tear them up.
I'm going to come out and say this. We need to start talking about the Patriots as being one of the worst teams in the NFL. I don't care if that's a hot take. I legitimately, after last week, I took a shot in the dark picking the Texans, and that was looking like a good pick for like the first, 58 minutes of that game. Bill Belichick last year and so far this year just hasn't been able to show that he can lead a team without Tom Brady to be successful.
I've been one defending him. And I do think obviously he's one of the best coaches of all time. I saw some stats earlier comparing, what is his name? Rex Ryan Rex Ryan and Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick's seasons without Tom Brady, they're pretty fucking comparable. Like Rex Ryan's seasons are better actually, as far as the playoffs and stuff go.
I mean, just offensively, defensively, there's nothing. Their best player is Matt Judon. Matt Judon, offensive and defensively. And when your best player is Matt Judon, you just don't have a great roster. Not saying that it's Bill Belichick's fault, but you're the guy that we look to in situations like this. So with that said, I think the Cowboys are going to go in and I think they're going to beat them. I think they could win by double digits. This Cowboys roster offensively and defensively is better than the Patriots. Ezekiel Elliott has, been showing that last year was maybe a fluke season. And defensively, and we talked about a lot about Trayvon Diggs last week, but they're just a solid defense as a whole. Mike McCarthy said in the offseason that it's the most improved unit he's ever seen as a head coach year to year. And I don't doubt that at all for 1 second. They're looking like, one of the better teams in the NFC. So yeah, give me the Cowboys by double digits in this game.
One thing I do want to say about this is, what was I going to say? Hold on, give me a second. Give me a second. Yeah. I had it. It was important. It was a good point.
All right, we'll come back.
Just move on.
We'll come back to it.
All right, guys. And are you ready for a possible AFC Championship preview between the Miami Dolphins and the Jacksonville Jaguars? We had this game on Thursday Night Football last year, and I remember being so pissed off about it. Jake, who do you got, man?
Oh my gosh. If Urban Meyer can't win this game, then he has no business being an NFL head coach. Like this is the easiest matchup you're going to get all year. Like for the Jacksonville, you had the Texans in week 1, but the Texans actually blew your ass out of the water. So in this game, the Dolphins have looked abysmal since Tua went down, and Tua really is, and Jacoby Brissett's been playing better than Tua. So that really tells you how this is going here for the Miami Dolphins. Trevor Lawrence has been improving. He's been looking good, and that's the only thing that makes me want to say that the Jags get their first win here. But I still can't do it. I think the Dolphins are just totally better coach. I still got questions about how that locker room is with the whole Urban Meyer news and everything. I just feel like the Jags are kind of in disarray right now, and as bad as the Dolphins are, they're well coached. That's the one thing you could say about the Dolphins. So I'm going to take the Dolphins in this one, as shitty as this game's going to be.
One thing I want to mention about this game is that it's kind of funny to me that both of these teams are in Florida and they are having to play each other in another country, because this is the London game.
Oh, this is the London game.
Oh, this is the London game?
Yeah.
Oh,
why do we send our worst teams to London? They deserve better.
They really do. Like,
they do like the Jaguars though, because they were the ones
because
willing.
we keep sending them there.
They're the
ones willing to do it. Because Shad Khan's like, my team sucks. I need something. I guess it's all about there's more ways to bring in dollars than winning. That's the one thing I've learned in marketing. You don't got to always count on the wins.
I think it's funny though that they're both in Florida and they literally had to fly overseas to play each other. Like, that's wild to me. But I did say last week, after I picked the Jaguars to beat the Titans, which ended up being a mistake, that I think that the Dolphins are a team that they could beat. And so I'm going to stick with that. In my opinion, hasn't really changed on that. I think that the Dolphins have looked pretty rough. I think Tua is going to be coming back from obviously a stint where he was injured and wasn't playing. And I think that he, one, doesn't look great when he's ready to play. And two, is going to be a bit rusty because of him sitting out for the extended period of time. So I think the Jags can win this one.
I don't think the Jags win a game until they fire Urban Meyer. I don't think, from a player standpoint, how can you play for this guy? It's nowhere close to like the John Gruden situation, but I don't think Urban Meyer had the locker room at all. His entire tenure there so far. And then the scandal from a couple of weeks ago is just adding more flame to the fire, or fuel to the fire. So I'm going with the Dolphins in this one. I'm not super confident in it. But then again, they are going up against the Jaguars, so I'm feeling a little bit safe as well. Give me Jacoby Brissett. I think they are the better team, although I think the Jaguars offense could put up some points.
I remembered what I was going to say about that.
Oh, here we go.
Do you guys think if Cam Newton was the quarterback right now, that this offense would be producing better? Because the run game has been rough, but last season with him as QB1, the run game looked a whole lot better.
I'm going to say no. I think what we've seen from Mac Jones, he looks far and beyond like the best quarterback so far. out of the rookie draft class this year. And he outperformed Cam Newton. Let's be honest. He outperformed him in camp. And yeah, I don't think this offense would be the same with Cam.
And I believe the Patriots also lost Joe Tooney in the offseason.
Yes,
He's on the Chiefs.
Who is their all-pro guard. So that's also kind of factoring into the run game, kind of being a little suspect this year, because that's a big loss. Guards are a big deal in the running game.
Okay. Just thought I'd ask.
Yeah.
All right. So we got another Super Bowl preview right here. We got the Cincinnati Bengals at the 0-5 Detroit Lions. It's the battle of the Cats. Gage, who you got?
I have got, and I mentioned this last week.
Take them.
I have got both of the winless teams winning in week 6 of NFL football. I think that the Lions are coming off of a rough loss where they lost off of another kick, of course. And I mean, what's his name? The head coach,
Dan Campbell.
Yes, Dan Campbell was literally crying after the game because his guys are just playing their hearts out and aren't able to get it done. I think that they go out there and they play for their coach, Dan Campbell, this week, and they get a win over the Bengals.
Yeah, I think the Lions should just be tanking for Kayvon Thibodeau at this point. Their defense needs to improve, and he's the best player in the draft. We're going to talk draft next year, and I mean, it's not a terrible thing if they go 0-17. I don't think they will. I think they'll get a win at some point. The Bengals are also, I believe the Bengals also lost last week, right?
Yep. It's Green Bay in the worst game ever.
Yeah. So the Bengals are also coming off a loss. Oh yeah, that was the kick. That was like both teams missing a bunch of
5
kicks.
straight field goals. Yep.
Yeah. Oh man, I want to pick the Lions. The Lions are such a team to root for with Dan Campbell. Oh my God.
If you pick the Lions, I'll pick the Lions as well.
Should we go all three of us?
All three.
I'll go. All right, I'm going Detroit. Let's go.
I'm
all
in the
Detroit,
same boat.
baby.
I'm in the same boat. I was not going to pick the Lions unless you pick the Lions, but I've been saying for weeks now, I think the Lions are way better than their record shows. They've been in a lot of close games and they've competed against really good teams. I mean, the Ravens, the Green Bay Packers for a half. Like they've looked a lot better than their record shows. And like losing in a heartbreaking fashion again.
Did you just say the Packers for a half?
Yeah, they were looking real good against them.
They let it half, right? They let it half.
I honestly don't remember.
I think it was like 17-14 and a half. Yeah,
something like that. But yeah, this is going to be the week that the Lions win. Something about this team is different from previous seasons. Like it's the culture there. I think Dan Campbell, I think, is the perfect guy to have there. Just wish they had a little bit of a better quarterback. So maybe they're going to be looking at quarterback instead of Kayvon Thibodeau.
I honestly think they would be above 500 if Matt Stafford was still there right now.
Oh,
that's
100%.
fair. That's 100%.
Fair. I believe that.
And that's not just like the shit on Jared Goff, because obviously their defense isn't great right now either.
No.
But I just think Matt Stafford would actually be able to lead them to some wins.
No, that is the shit on Jared Goff. Let's be real. Let's shit on Jared Goff a little.
Yeah, he's not great. He kind of sucks.
The thing about the Lions is they are going to be without Quintez Cephas, Wisconsin legend, who has really developed into their number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah.
They are going to be, I don't know if is it for the season that they lock him down, or I don't know. He's dealing with an injury.
He's on IR. He's got a broken collarbone. They said that it might be for the season, but they're not sure. Even if it's not for the season, it'll probably be close to it.
Yeah.
Several weeks.
So give us the Lions because they have heart.
That's exactly. Like. Overcoming adversity.
Mm-hmm.
So their best receiver is Amon-Ra St. Brown right now.
Yeah.
They've got Khalif Raymond, who's been playing decent.
Khalif Raymond out of Holy Cross. Oh man. Oh geez. I have never seen a more depleted wide receiver core than what the Detroit Lions have right now. Man. I guess the Eagles maybe over the past couple of years when they had to bring up when Greg Ward and Travis Fulgham was like in the mix, but like this is bad. Like Amon-Ra St. Brown is still like what, a 6th round rookie, 5th round rookie. Like this should not be your number 1 wide receiver. Even Quintez Cephas should not be your number 1 wide receiver. At least they got Hawkinson though.
Their best receiver is probably DeAndre Swift, but
honestly,
yeah.
Hey, so split them out wide and have Jamal Williams in the backfield. Fuck it,
dude.
Yes,
yeah.
Look honestly, at that. At this point, yeah,
I'm liking that. So let's move on. We got the Texans at the Colts. Jake, who you got?
Oh my God. Yeah, give me the Colts in this one. The Colts are another team that just so many shortcut. Like they were dominating for so much of that game on Monday. But it's just the Lamar Jackson effect, he can come back at any moment. Carson Wentz has one interception this year. His one, and it really wasn't his fault, the one interception he threw. So Carson Wentz has looked like, let's say it, he's looked good. He's looked good. I had my doubts about Carson Wentz coming into the season. He's looked good. He hasn't looked MVP level. He hasn't looked like 2017 Carson Wentz, but he's looked like an above average quarterback in the NFL right now. So it's really not his fault. Jonathan Taylor is starting to find his stride. The defense is doing some good things. The offense is doing some good things. It's just the consistency. They are without Rodrigo Blankenship in this game, which I think might play a decent factor. Kamimi Fairbairn is nothing to write home about with the Texans either. He's missed his fair share of kicks.
They picked up Michael Badgley, I'm pretty sure.
Michael Badgley. All right. Yeah. He's all right. He's all right. He's probably
the money badger.
Yeah. So hopefully this game doesn't come down to field goals. I'm guessing that's kind of the direction they're going in right now.
It might.
But I just think the Colts are a better team. It's in Indianapolis too, so I'm going to go with the Colts in this one.
This is the start of the Colts getting into a really easy stretch of their schedule. Obviously the Texans are competing with some teams, like they competed with the Patriots last week, which obviously Jake and I weren't expecting. Yeah. But I think that the Colts, I haven't given up yet. I haven't given up. I think that the Colts still have an opportunity to get back in it and get to a point where they're at least 500 by the end of this stretch. Jonathan Taylor, like you said, is hitting his stride, and I think he's going to continue to do so, obviously facing weaker opponents. Carson Wentz is only going to build confidence over this stretch as well. I think that the Colts win this one too.
I have given up on the Colts, and I was so high on them the entire offseason just because I think Tennessee is far and beyond a better team than them. I think Derrick Henry just alone is a better team than the Indianapolis Colts right now. And just with how competitive the wild card scene in the AFC is going to be, I kind of have given up hope. That being said, I am going to pick them in this game. And I think this is going to be the breakout game for Michael Pittman Jr. He's had a pretty solid season this far, but I think this game is where he's really going to show out. I'm predicting 11 catches, $150 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Michael Pittman Jr. He's got to develop into that number 1 wide receiver that they're hoping that he would be. I think T.Y. Hilton is on track to return this week, or maybe not on track to return this week, but I know he's coming back from an injury. I think he's been practicing recently. So
yeah, I think he will be back soon. I don't know if it'll be for this game.
Yeah, so they're going to get him back soon, which is obviously he's probably going to be the safety net for Carson Wentz. Yeah. So we'll be looking out for that. As we move on to the Los Angeles Rams at the New York Giants. Gage, who you got?
I have the Los Angeles Rams in this one. Daniel Jones will be playing this week. We found out kind of rough, definitely a concussion. Couldn't have been good. Yep. But he will be playing. Hopefully he looks fine. I don't wish poorly upon him. Of course, he's been playing very well this season when he's been able to play. So I think that this isn't going to be a close game. I think the Rams are probably going to blow him out, but at least Daniel Jones is able to play.
Yeah.
This is part of my parlay as well. I did forget to mention a couple, so I'll do that real quick. I picked the Rams to win this one. I picked the Colts to beat the Texans, and I did pick the Cowboys to beat the Patriots as part of my parlay as well.
Nice. Yeah. Daniel Jones should not be playing this week. He definitely has a concussion, and you do not heal from a concussion in 1 week. You don't. And I've heard he's had a couple over his lifetime. So CTE is looking him is behind him right now, kind of catching up to him. So if I was him, I know that competitive nature is there, and all these guys have killer competitiveness, especially Daniel Jones. We've seen him claw his way back in fourth quarters. But for your own health, don't play. You can't heal from concussion in 1 week. You're going up against Aaron fucking Donald. Aaron Donald if Aaron Donald gets one hit on you, your career can be over. So I just really don't think Daniel Jones should play this week. He is though. So I guess that's his decision. I'm going to take the Rams in this one, because there's no way Daniel Jones is seeing the field great, in this game. Oh yeah. So yeah, the Rams I think are going to eat up the Giants in this one, regardless of it being in MetLife. Give me the Rams all day in this one.
Saquon Barkley's out.
Yeah.
Kenny Galladay's out.
Yep.
Yeah, give me the Rams by 41. So and Kadarius Toney's questionable, Darius Slayton's questionable, Andrew Thomas is questionable. Their whole team is pretty.
I think
much
Sterling Shepard is also questionable.
Yep, their whole team.
They're banged up bad.
Yep. So we are gonna move on to the Chiefs at the Washington football team. Jake, who you got?
Man, Taylor Heineke, man. Taylor Heineke makes this decision tough.
Stop.
He makes this decision tough. I'm kidding. It would be so fitting though if this was the game that the Washington defense decided to, come to life and be the defense that they are on paper.
Right.
It would be so fitting, especially
Imagine
again.
It's a defensive battle.
Yeah, especially with the way the Chiefs have been playing this year.
Yeah.
Like, I would not be surprised if this is the game they're like, oh shit, we should actually play up to our level. Yeah, but
before you make your decision, Terry McLaurin is questionable.
No, I was gonna pick the Chiefs anyway. Yeah, Chiefs in this one, but it would just be so fitting for me in the way that my couple weeks have been going. If the Washington defense decided to wake up in this game and win it for them. So yeah, give me the Chiefs all day in this one though.
I'm taking the Chiefs in this one as well. This is another leg of the parlay. I said last episode that I think that the Chiefs are first round exits at best. And I do still believe that because competing with good teams, they still struggle. Like all three of their losses are against teams that are now 4-1. So I definitely think they've got some struggles to get through, but I think that they're still perfectly capable of beating teams that aren't that great. And the Washington football team thus far has not been that great.
I love Taylor Heineke, don't get me wrong, but I'm not joking. I think the Chiefs could legitimately win like 56-3, 56-10 in this game. I think they're pissed from last week's loss. Obviously, they're 2-3. We've seen this Washington football team get shut down before. Obviously, they played the Bills defense, and which is much better, worlds better than the Chiefs defense. But I'm confident in the Chiefs. I think they're gonna get back on track. Tyreek Hill alone might have 300 yards receiving. Wouldn't be a surprise. I'm looking for the Chiefs offense to get back on track this game because the Washington defense, for as disappointing as the Chiefs defense is, Washington football defense, sure. I thought they were going to be number 1 and they're number 30 right now. So that's
I think this
telling.
could be a shootout though. Based on how bad both defenses have been, I think that it could. I would be willing to take the over in this game. I think.
I think Terry and Taylor have been going off.
Yeah, Taylor. It could be very wild card game-esque for Taylor Heineke in this game.
Diving at pylons.
I love how he's known for that too. That's his thing. Diving at pylons.
He did it in college and stuff too.
High school even. So yeah. Now we got game of the week, guys. Game of the week, hands down, not even close. Unless you think the Jags and Dolphins are gonna.
Well, Chargers at Ravens is gonna be a good one too.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a good week.
Yeah, for sure. We got the Cardinals at the Browns. This is an amazing game on paper. Jake, who do you got?
I'm gonna take the Browns in this one. Cliff Kingsbury is gonna be out with COVID in this one, as well as I believe somebody on their defense and another one of their quarterback coach. So there's a couple guys out. Losing your head coach is rough when you go into opposing team territory. I don't know who's going to be the interim head coach for this. It's probably special teams head coach.
Probably.
But yeah, the Browns, this has got to be the game. They need to win this game. They can't go to 3-3. They can't. They need to be 4-2. This is a good opportunity. Cardinals are without their head coach. This is your opportunity to Baker, especially, you got to play, you got to perform in this game. If you want to be taken seriously as a Super Bowl contender, which many people picked you to be. So Browns, I would say this is a game that I don't want to say it's must win, but it's a game that they really should win. So I'm going to take the Browns in this one.
I like the Browns in this one as well to give the Cardinals their first loss of the season. Kyler Murray's been dealing with a shoulder injury that is hindering him a little bit. You kind of saw it last week against the 49ers. The Browns may or may not be without Jadeveon Clowney, which is kind of a hit, but obviously they still have Myles Garrett. I think they're still going to be able to disrupt the quarterback just fine. So I think that the Browns will win this one as well. Despite not having Nick Chubb, I think Kareem Hunt's I mean, he's up there too. He's going to be able to compete just fine.
Zach Ertz isn't eligible to play in this game, right? Right? I don't think
Considering
you're
he
No,
allowed
because
to
he
already
play.
played this week.
Yeah, I don't think you're allowed.
There's
yeah, okay.
no way he could. He's not going to know a single play in this playbook.
Imagine the fantasy implications, though. If he played 2 games in a single week and you had him on your team.
I don't think that's legal. I
Oh,
don't think that's
I don't
possible.
think so, but that would be insane, though.
No,
That's
it definitely would just lock him into those points from Thursday. It definitely wouldn't
Probably,
be able to transfer. Yeah, his points just wouldn't register in this game.
That would be
Not that he's-
wild, though.
That would be
crazy.
really cool.
That would be crazy.
Live update: the Cardinals GM Steve Keem also just got COVID and will not be traveling with the team. So the Cardinals
Ooh.
have a COVID issue right now, and for that reason, I am also going with the Browns. You can't lose your head coach, especially not a few days before the game starts.
Yeah.
And maybe they're gonna pull something off, but I just don't see it happening. I feel like this Browns team needs to get into their stride. They need to keep pace with the Baltimore Ravens in this division, and really the Cincinnati Bengals too, because the Bengals are no slouches either. Even though we all picked the Lions and we're all picking the Browns. So yeah, give me Baker Mayfield. He is just not. What does he have? 4 touchdowns so far this season. It's kind of embarrassing going into week 6. I'd love to see Odell Beckham Jr. get more than like 2 targets this game. That would be awesome. That would be awesome, Baker Mayfield. That'd be sick. So yeah, we all got the Browns in this one. Really good game. I really hope it's a close scoring game, like 34-32, something like that. Moving on to the Las Vegas Raiders with their new head coach going to take on the Denver Broncos in Denver. I don't know who I went to last. I'll just go with Gage this one. Gage, who you got?
Oh man, it's like tough because of the situations, and like the Broncos have started to fall off some, the Raiders have started to fall off some. Obviously, the Raiders are now with a new head coach, but I feel like interim head coaches just have like weird track records. Like they tend to do well for some reason, at least starting out. I think that the Raiders have a lot to play for, so I'm going to take them in this one. I think that it'll be close. I don't think it'll be a blowout by any means or anything like that, but I think that they're going to show that, hey, we can still contend even with all the things going on.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm looking up a stat now that says teams are 9-13 the game after their head coach was fired. So, 12-10 after the head coach was fired. So there's a winning record.
It's above 500.
Yeah, I might say the Raiders in this game just for the fact of the whole team might rally around the fact that they got rid of John Gruden and they're going up against a division rival. It's very easy. The Broncos, let's just say it, the Broncos have not been impressive to me. Like we're starting to get to the end of this Teddy Bridgewater experiment where, the preseason hype starting to fade a little bit. Like you're starting to see the limitations of Teddy Bridgewater because you got receivers that are meant to go. Cortland Sutton is a deep threat. You're not using him as a deep threat. Noah Fant has just been a check down option. Yep. And anybody that has Noah Fant fantasy like I do knows how excruciatingly annoying that is. Noah Fant is a very athletic tight end. You should be using him downfield. Drew Lock, we're getting to the point where Teddy Bridgewater hasn't done anything to lose his job, but it might be around a couple weeks where the Broncos are like, do we try like a couple losses and the Broncos, the head coaches are getting together being like, do we try Drew Lock? Like, is this because Teddy's really not in change in the game for us? Because he's a guy that's not going to lose the game for you, but he's a guy that's not necessarily going to win the game for you either. So it's in Mile High. Oh man, I just feel something special about the Raiders this week. I don't know what it is. I feel like they're going to rally behind this. I feel like Rich Bisaccia is a guy that can kind of get them all together. So I'm going to take the Raiders in this one. They're a talented team. We've seen it. The Broncos are not streaking in any way, shape, or form. They haven't been anything overly impressive besides the defense. The defense has been the best part of that team. So give me the Raiders. Give me the Raiders in this one.
Yeah, the Broncos are on a downward slope right now. They're on a 2-game losing streak after starting 3-0, but those 3 wins came against the Giants, the Jaguars, and the Jets, possibly 3 of the worst teams in the NFL. The Raiders just have so much more to play for. I mean, in every facet of the game. Playing behind Rich Bisaccia in his first ever game, you're going to want to get him a win. I think Derek Carr has a lot to prove this week going up against a solid defense of the Broncos. So yeah, give me the Raiders in this one. I want to look up Jesus. What is what are the odds of this game?
I think it's close. I think it's like damn near a pick 'em.
I think it is as well.
It is. Broncos are favored 3.5 points. That's okay.
And you get 3 points at home. So it's basically a pick 'em.
Yeah.
I'm like dying right now. Woo. We need to fucking wrap this shit up.
Oh my God.
Cardinals COVID gotcha.
Yeah, we were just talking about it. All right. Possibly the worst Sunday night football game matchup of the season. We got the Seattle Seahawks. Sorry, Jake. At the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jake,
Wow.
I'll let you kick it off.
Wow. Did you say the worst matchup of the season? Oh, that's rough. That's
Geno
mean.
Smith versus Ben.
That's mean. Geno Smith is the MVP. What are you talking about? Jesus Christ. Yeah, so I'm going with the Seahawks in this one. I'm riding my team until we die. Geno Smith for MVP. Give it to me. Alex Collins. Chris Carson is even starting this week. That looks like it's probably going to be an issue. Like a long-term issue with Chris Carson, which is great because it's not like I traded Jamar Chase for him or anything, which I did. So yeah, give me Geno Smith to lead this team to victory. And just be honest with me here. If Geno Smith wins this game convincingly, how do you think Russell feels? How do you think Russell feels about that? I know Russell's an overly team guy. He's a team guy through and through. But you think Russell maybe leans towards leaving a little bit? I don't know.
If I'm putting myself in his shoes, if I am Russell Wilson and Geno goes out and wins the game pretty convincingly, I'm probably not going to give a single fuck and continue to sip my drink from my bed. Like Geno Smith is not taking anybody's job anytime soon. I apologize, but no, Russ is safe where he's at. I don't think that'll contribute to him deciding to leave.
I'm not saying he's going to take his job. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. This is me I've kind of just accepted the fact that Russ is going to leave at some point, because I just don't want to have that heartbreak. I've been heartbroken too many times. All right. Penn State just lost to Iowa. All right. In terrible fashion. The Yankees just lost to the Red Sox in the wild card game. Like I've had the Rangers.
You're a mess.
The New York Rangers have not looked great to start the season. The Knicks are 4-0 in preseason. So that's something to hang my hat on right now. But I've just been through so much heartbreak. I don't want to take more heartbreak by Russ leaving and me not expecting it. I don't think Russ is going to leave. Let's just say that. But if Geno Smith wins this convincingly, it makes me feel a little better if Russ does leave.
You just said you were preparing for him to leave. You can't.
I know.
Say you don't think he's going to leave.
Don't think he's going.
I know, because it's
Jake,
prepared for the
Jake. He's
it's prepared.
Leaving.
Okay,
he's gone.
I know. It's prepare for the worst, hope for the best. All right, that's the saying. So that's what I prepared myself for. I'm trying to make myself feel better. But Geno Smith wins this game. Yeah, if Geno Smith goes 3-0 in this little stretch before Russell is supposed to come back 3 or 4-0, listen, it looks like I wouldn't be heartbroken if obviously I'd be heartbroken if Russell left, but I would have more hope if he does leave. That's all I'm trying to say here. But yeah, give me the Seahawks.
If you somehow, some way come out of this like 500 at least, then I think like Russ can still lead you to a decent record.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I don't think you win this game. I think Geno's stretch starts out 0-1. The Steelers, obviously their defense is still fairly solid. Big Ben looked a lot better this past week. I'm not saying that I think that's going to keep up or anything like that. I don't think that he's going to continue to look as good. But I mean, passing deep, he was actually connecting with his receivers and they were scoring off of it. And I don't think that's something that the Seahawks are going to be able to defend against, especially not like who did they face last week? The Broncos.
Yeah.
Especially not like the Broncos could. So I got the Steelers in this one.
I also have the Steelers in this one. Let me just say, if I almost said Russell Westbrook. If Russell Wilson was playing this game, I'd pick the Seahawks. But I'm not putting too much faith into those few drives that Geno Smith had last week, although he did look good. And I think The Seahawks have an out. You couldn't ask for a better receiving core or receiving duo than DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett if you're a backup quarterback. But I think the Steelers are starting to hit their stride. We can make all the jokes about them that we want. But I think defensively, they're going to be able to play well against Geno Smith. And I think they're going to get a lot of sacks because of it. Give me the Steelers.
By the way, I just want to breaking news. Chris Carson was just placed on IR.
Yeah, I saw that earlier.
Yeah.
It's a neck injury, and it looks like it's going to last a little while.
Jesus Christ. I can't with this.
Yeah, as far as the Steelers go, like we can joke about them all we want and we can trash them or whatever, but any team coached by Mike Tomlin, I feel like you can never count out.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, and they looked good last week. If Big Ben starts to get going, like this team could go places. Like they have a talented roster. It's just I feel like Big Ben is just not been able to lead them.
Juju, but I think
that did suck. Did you guys see
him.
that? Did you see his press conference that he had at his event? Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah, they need to get the ball to Chase Claypool a little more though. They got to utilize him a little more.
Absolutely, no doubt. And our last game, this is a good one too. We got some good matchups in week 6. We got the Bills going to the Titans. These are teams that I'm sure we're going to see in the playoffs later on. Jake, who you got?
So Bills and Titans.
Yep.
All right. I mean, I got the Bills. It's just the Bills are streaking right now. Like they damn near look unbeatable. Like ever since that week 1 game, which was definitely, we can say it now, it was a fluke. It was totally a fluke. It was a week 1. You're a little rusty. That's all it was. The Titans haven't all. I mean, Luke's MVP pick hasn't looked all that impressive this year.
So it was tough. That's a tough one.
Yeah. Derrick Henry has looked otherworldly this year, though. So that's the one thing the Bills have to worry about because there is not a defense on this planet that could stop Derrick Henry right now. He's already got like over 600 yards. So he might be on pace for another 2,000-yard rushing season.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
He is.
He is.
I think he's going to break the rushing record with the 17th game.
If he does that, do we have to start legitimately talking about Derrick Henry as the greatest running back of all time? If he gets 2,000-yard rushing seasons
back to back and breaks the record
rushing record.
Yeah.
He's in that conversation.
We've never seen a player like him. Like his frame, with the speed that he has being that big, like nobody can tackle him. It's crazy.
Maybe Earl Campbell in the 70s. He was known for doing that a little bit.
And like the argument
Eddie Lacy.
Yeah. He's what Eddie Lacy could have been. He is what Eddie Lacy could have been.
I mean, and the argument you always go back to like try and credit like I think that Derrick Henry is going to start to have a downfall is that he just gets so many damn carries, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it's like Lamar Jackson. He just proves us wrong over and over and over again. He gets all these carries and it doesn't affect him. Like we see these smaller guys like Dalvin Cook and Christian McCaffrey, they get about the same amount of carries or a ton of carries as well. And it is ruining their bodies. They're injured constantly. Derrick Henry doesn't miss a fucking game.
Oh, it's my turn. So I'm going with the Bills in this one. Wait, did you pick someone, Gage?
Oh, no, I didn't. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't think
we got off on a tangent.
So, yeah.
In this game, I am going to take the Bills as well. I think that the Bills, like Jake said, they're just such a complete team. They're just so good. They're streaking right now, and I don't think that's going to stop just yet. The Titans haven't looked all that good so far. Julio is going to be playing this week, so maybe that adds a little spark to that offense aside from Derrick Henry because they're not getting much done in the passing game. But Josh Norman isn't there anymore to get tossed around by Derrick Henry like he did last season. So I think that this Bills defense has definitely upgraded, and I think they'll be able to contain him a little bit better. I don't know that they'll contain him fully or that he won't rush for some crazy amount, but I think that they'll be able to outscore them enough to win this game.
Yeah, Bills are the best team in the league. How can I not pick them? Offensively, defensively, I mean, they're ranked 1 in both categories: total offense, total defense, scoring offense, scoring defense, like everything. They've been outstanding from the front office. Then this rebuild, honestly, with Josh Allen. I thought Josh Allen was going to be the number 1 pick in 2018. I have the receipts for that. I'm glad I do because I thought he was going to be the best quarterback in this draft class. And he's looking like it right now. He's playing like the MVP. Although I'd love to see Stephon Diggs catch some fucking touchdowns. Oh my God, can we please start looking his way? Yeah, this team looks unbeatable right now. They are the hottest team, I think. And I think the Titans, while they might have the best running back in the league, I think they're going to get outscored to the point where you're going to have to rely on Ryan Tannehill to win this game. And you just haven't been able to rely on him really this season to be able to win these sort of games. So yeah, give me the Bills. And I think they'll probably win by a hefty margin.
Yeah. I think the loss of Arthur Smith, their former offensive coordinator, who became the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, is taking more of a toll than we all thought it would. 100%. I mean, the run game looks fine because you have Derrick Henry, who's a fucking bowling ball. But it's just AJ Brown isn't getting involved. AJ Brown has to be involved in this game. Like, that's a must. If you're going to win this game, you need to throw the ball to AJ Brown. Julio Jones is hurt, which doesn't help them. Also, they lost Jonnu Smith too, which is another big loss. This team, the offense was so fragile, and we're starting to realize that now. And that defense isn't going to do much. So it's disappointing for the Titans, because I was really expecting them to have a great year, really have a chance to make a run in the playoffs, but it's not looking like that.
Definitely.
All right, guys, that is going to do it for episode 26 of the Totally Unqualified podcast. We're about to be at episode 30 before we even know it. It's crazy. We thank you guys so much for all of the support. If you haven't already, please go and download the Overtime app. It's an awesome app. We all have it. It's social media, kind of meets sports polls and other stuff like that. It's super fun. I play it all the time. So that link is in all of our social bios. If you want to go download it there, you don't have to use those links, but those links support us on the podcast and support our TikTok, so we can kind of push more content out to you guys.
And if you don't know where to find our social bios, I am Extra Points, Luke is Football Fan Zone, and Jake is, of course, Jake Maltese 3. So you can find it at the link of any of our bios, of course. And then follow us on all of our Totally Unqualified accounts. We have an amazing Instagram. We have Twitter. We have TikTok. Make sure to follow us wherever you can.
And make sure to go follow Elsped too. He's part of Totally Unqualified just as much as us. Shout out and go make sure to show him some love. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. Can't wait to get into the next episode. Thank you.